Hello and hi, welcome to Yedidia Shofet.net, and welcome to this week's portion of Jewish Wisdom, week number 20. Today's question, which was addressed by the Vilna Gaon, is: compassion is usually a positive trait. When is compassion negative? So, what do you know compassion? What do you know it as? Compassion, we always see it as in terms of charity. People see that people need money, whether if it's for their schools, whether if it's for bills, whether if it's just to help them out to make the week. Tomchei Shabbat is very known for that. We have a beautiful Tomchei Shabbat over here, which people would give money for people to have food for Shabbat, to have a warm meal. All these things are compassionate because people care. Another thing of compassion is by just being that big brother or that good friend, just to hear one another. You know, a lot of times all a person has to do if they want to give tzedakah, which is give charity, is not even to spend a cent. Rather, just to give the time in order to hear what someone else has to say. That's what compassion is. So, is it possible to actually have compassion go on the other way around? Meaning, can it actually be used for a negative trait? So, the Vilna Gaon, he answers this in a very cryptic yet broad spectrum. How? He says a person should not be compassionate towards himself and thereby give in to all of his desires. And then he continues to a long section of notes. But before I even talk about anything of that, I want to summarize it. Meaning, he gives in to what he believes sometimes is the right thing to do. But when you take a step back and you look at what it actually means to be compassionate and what it means to be humane, you sometimes forget about what it is to do the right thing. For instance, I'll give you an example. There was several years ago, they called a man a hero. Why was he a hero? Because his dog, he fell into, it was a flash flood, and the dog fell into the water. And he jumped in to save his dog. The guy died. However, the dog survived because the dog was able to swim back. Now, they call him a hero because he felt so compassionate for this dog. So my question to you is, do you believe that is compassion put in the best way? Is that compassion put in the best way possible? So I'm not here to judge, I'm not here to say anything, but do you believe that a human life is more valuable than an animal life? What do you believe? So it's obvious it is. I'm not here to tell you that. I'm sure you know it. But the compassion led him to go into his desire about his animal love, and it threw him off. Forget his kids, forget his family, forget everyone else. He threw him in order to try to save his dog. Is he called a hero? I do not believe so. But what I believe, and what I know from our sources, our rabbinic sources, which have always led the best way in the guide of life, especially in the past 2,000 years, past 100 years, past 5 years, past year, is that a person has to realize the compassion that he has for himself, for his family, has to only be in a compassion led for a great purpose. Not just for his own desires, but rather for an ultimate goal that will uplift himself along with everyone else around him. That is the true definition of what compassion is. And by pushing yourself to be compassionate for the greater good, that is ultimately what is the most positive trait of compassion. I want to give you a beautiful beracha that you always be compassionate with one another, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow for Parsha of the Week.